when I break through. I don't know what comes next, but I couldn't care less. I refuse to feel stressed. There's no fear in my chest.
Hi everybody, and welcome to This Dream Is Yours. I'm Elizabeth Axelgard, and I always say I'm excited to be here, but I'm more curious to be here today to hear the story of my first guest, Linnsey Dolson. Linnsey, how are you doing today?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be back in this little town where I originally built my empire.
Well, and we're going to talk about that. But before we get into your empire, the reason I wanted you to be on the show is because you're an inspirational person. You've had a lot of things happen in your life, but I don't know much about your childhood. I don't know about where you came from.
Yeah.
So can you kind of fill in the audience a little bit?
Yeah, let me take you on a journey. So, you know what's funny is so many people think that when they see somebody who hit rock bottom, they had a crappy childhood. And it was actually the opposite for me. Oh. I was a figure skater. I was a competitive race car driver.
What?
Yeah. My parents were great. I had such a loving home. None of my siblings ever struggled with drugs or alcohol or anything. But it was I wanted to do things my way in life. Even as a little child, I did not care what anybody wanted me to do. I did what Lindsay wanted to do.
Okay.
So by the time I'm 15, I'm pregnant with my first child. So I give birth to my first child at 16. I'm going to speed it up because it's a wild, long story.
So, but what happened with that with your parents? How did that go?
They actually were almost too supportive. So that's a whole different story, but definitely enabled, right? My mom's like, oh, no worries. We will go buy you the perfect nursery and clothes and
help you babysit.
Right. There was no, it wasn't even hard on me, if that made sense. And then by the time I was 17, I was pregnant again. And so my 18th birthday, I had this brilliant idea. I'm going to go be a stripper. Right? Because sounded amazing. I seen that movie with Demi Moore, Striptease. Did you see? Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. And so on my 18th birthday, I went and applied. And I would say that was probably my biggest downfall because that industry, everybody's drinking, they're using. I had 2 kids and I was working all night. And then I would be so tired to take care of them during the day. And I remember a lot of the girls there were like, hey, this is what we do. And it was meth. And they were and I started doing it. And I'm like, oh shit, who needs sleep? Why doesn't the rest of the world do this? I thought I found the answer to all my problems. And so I had my 3rd son. I was a stripper. And fast forward, I got to the point where I couldn't even work because my addiction was so bad. I was dating the drug dealer, and
you mentioned in the beginning that you're from a good family.
Good family,
Normal.
Totally great family. You'd never expect it. And here I am. My addiction took me to the point where I'm lost my home. I'm living in hotels with 3 kids. Okay, and we get pulled over, and there's loaded guns, drugs, everything in the car. And at this point, CPS took my 3 kids. My mom got them. So they never ended up in the system. And it's my mom got them. And so there's that level of enabling because I didn't really have to get sober because I was well, I can keep doing what I'm doing because my mom's got them and I can go see them when I want, kind of thing. And my addiction just kept spiraling out of control. And then my mom wouldn't let me see the kids for a while. And I got pregnant again. I got no prenatal care at this point. 0. Because I was so bad in my addiction, using every day, that I remember my water just broke. And I was in this trap house, which is just a, drug infested home. And I go to the hospital and I give birth to a baby who's pos tox, which means they had, drugs in their system. They take the baby from me. And I leave the hospital, and I remember the Placer County sheriffs were we're trying to figure out if we're going to arrest you or not. And I did get a child endangerment charge for that, from using when I was pregnant. So I leave the hospital, and I'm 10 months later, I'm back at a different hospital, giving birth to another baby.
Good Lord.
Pause talks, no prenatal care, same thing. They take the baby. So my mom's all the babies go to my mom. So at this point, my mom has 5 kids of mine. And I'm like so bad in my addiction. And then me and my mom kind of started talking again. And by this time, she had to legally adopt all 5 of the kids because CPS completely terminated my parental rights. I was so bad in my addiction. And I moved in with my mom. So I was still able to see the kids, but I was like a fucking tornado in everybody's lives. Like I was so broken. And
so what was the trigger for you that took the tornado and calmed the weather?
Yeah.
I mean, what was it that happened?
I remember, and it was finally a point where my mom put a restraining order on me, kicked me out of the house, put a restraining order on me. I wasn't allowed to see the kids. I wasn't allowed to see my mom, the kids, the family. At that point, my family finally said, we're done. This is what I try to teach other families right now. Mm-hmm. But it was that we're done. And I remember walking down the street. And at this point, I was 6 months pregnant with my 6th child. 6 months pregnant with my 6th child, walking down the street at Antelope Road. And all I had to my name was like one piece of clothing that I stole from Goodwill and a pair of flip-flops from Dollar Store that I kept re-gluing because they kept breaking. Like my feet were bleeding. I had nowhere to go. And I remember I finally found like this trap house, which we call just like a dope house. And I'm sitting in the bathroom, 6 months pregnant, like getting high. And it was at that point where I was like, okay, I either want to die or I want to change my life because I literally can't take this pain one more day. It got to the point where I wasn't numb anymore. It was the worst pain. Like going through active addiction, people think, when there's a horrific like addiction, nobody hates the drug addict more than the drug addict hates herself.
It's interesting. You don't think about it like that.
You don't think about it like that. And they do. I hated myself. And so I called my dad, and my dad picked me up and dropped me off at a residential treatment program in Garden Valley. So I don't know if you're familiar with where Garden Valley is.
I am.
Progress House.
Okay.
I spent 8 months, and it saved my life. So I gave birth to my 6th baby there. Brought her home from the hospital there. I was able to start having my kids staying the weekends there.
So what was it about the treatment program at Progress House that resonated with you, that made was it your commitment that you made at that point in that trap house that said, they're done, I'm done, death or move forward?
I think it was desperation. The best gift in the world. At that point, I was so desperate to never feel that way again. And I was done. Like I was done. And it's, I tell families of addicts, like they have to be done. Because there was times over the 12 years of my meth addiction, I went to 13 different rehabs and never stayed more than a week. So
it was your parents saying we're done, and then you realizing for yourself that you were done.
Yeah, well, I had nothing at that point. I lost everything. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. And even like my friends that were in my addiction with me, they didn't want me because I was ripping them off. And I was like, you're in your addiction, you're doing this horrific stuff. So it was like, I finally hit that wall. There was nowhere else to go. It was just rock bottom. Rock bottom is what saved my life. Sitting in that bathroom, 6 months pregnant, in that house, was my rock bottom.
So rock bottom happens, and then you have created for yourself a crazy empire.
Oh, it has. So yeah, let me fast forward.
Okay,
and I'll tell you,
because it's sort of mind-numbing right now as I'm sitting here.
I know. People are like, wait, is that the same person? So it's funny. How I ended up in Auburn was I got out of the residential treatment facility, and the state paid for me to go to a transitional living house, which ended up on College Way in Auburn.
Okay.
So I just ended up getting placed in Auburn. And once I started getting sober, I already knew. I was like, okay, I was not meant to live an ordinary life. Okay, so now how the hell are we going to do this, right? Because I don't want to live an ordinary life.
Can I ask what that means to you?
So to me, there's nothing wrong with ordinary. But what I see so many people do is autopilot. We were talking about this before we started, is they're on autopilot. So I remember sitting in the rehab, and there's like tons of girls in there, and they're talking about their goal. And they actually had me write a letter to myself of what my dream life would look like 1 year from the day. It was a few weeks after I went into the rehab. And I was like, I hope that I get approved for low-income housing, because that's the only way I'd be able to afford my own house. I hope I get my kids at least on the weekends, and a job. And you know what's so funny? So I'm in the tea house, and I go get a job at Top Golf. And I'm in my first day of training, and they call me out, and they're like, oh, we ran your background. I'm sorry, here's your last check. They fired me, and I'm like, oh, what a blessing that was, right? Because then I had a welfare to work program, because I was in the tea house on welfare, and they were like, hey, there's this cleaning company, Leslie's Cleaning Services. You should try to get a job there. And so I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not? So I got a job there, and I worked there just for like a few weeks. And I was like, oh, I can duplicate this. And so I had a $500 car. That's all I had. And I started my own cleaning company. And this thing had no power steering. So I shit you not, I could not park anywhere. I had to back out. And then I was building, most of my clients were in Auburn. And so I carried a piece of cardboard in the trunk, and I would slide it under the car when I pulled in front of these houses, because I didn't want them getting mad that like oil was leaking. And then I'd come out, and I'd like try to sneak it back into the trunk. You know, I'd keep my cleaning supplies in the back seat because my trunk was so gross. And I really quick, I got like that low-income housing apartment in the Greens.
Okay.
In the Greens,
Okay.
right? And it was disgusting. It had cockroaches. It was so bad, but it was my first own house in like 12 years. And so I moved there. I had my kids on the weekend, and I had the baby the full time. And then the other kids I started getting on the weekends, then like more like 50%, split them with my mom.
Can I just jump in and ask
Yeah.
a quick question with your mom with that dichotomy? Did it get weird when you started getting them back?
So you know what's funny?
Because you mentioned that
Me
it
and
was
my
the
mom-
enabling kind of thing a little
Me
bit.
and my mom have zero relationship. My mom's kind of mentally ill anyway, unfortunately, but she was never happy that I got sober.
See, that was my question.
It
I had a
was
feeling.
really weird. She
Yeah.
never cheered me on, and she's literally tried to destroy my life ever since.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
a funny toxicity.
It's so weird, to the point where she gets called Auburn PD and said our cleaning company is an undercover drug ring. And Auburn PD is like, I work with Lindsey. Like we love
We know
Lindsey.
her.
Yeah. So no, it was never a thing. It was more, she let the kids come because the kids would put up such a fight that she didn't want to deal with the fight with them. So she'd just be like, sure, go. Right? But it was never a support.
Interesting. How about your dad?
Oh my gosh, he's the best. He passed away a few years ago. My dad is my world. My dad brought the kids every weekend to see me at the rehab, like my biggest cheerleader. And so I would clean houses all day and businesses all night. And I built that cleaning company into $1 million company within 4 years. So within 4 years, $1 million company, I got...
And you were hiring people that were like yourself, right?
No, actually, I didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not. And I still, I never hired really people in recovery because there's a risk.
Yeah.
And so, but my general manager is in recovery, and she's got years, and she's amazing, but I actually didn't.
Interesting, okay.
I would not hire somebody unless they at least have a few years sober, because it's just a really big risk in the beginning. The first few years are a risk, but I turned into $1 million company within like 4 years. I got a house on Sunset Ridge Circle. So I was so excited. Like, oh my God, I have a house. And so I moved my mom in with me. And that was, in my eyes, I was like, look, I'll just support you. And so I can have my kids there 24/7, right? So I moved my mom in, and then I had my kids with me. And we didn't get along that great. It was really rough, but it was okay because it was like the wreckage of the past. It's what I have to deal with, you know? And there was a lot to deal with. I mean, because she's the legal one on their birth certificate. So even like at Placer High, when I signed my daughter up for high school, I had to bring my mom. because I'm not on her birth certificate. And my mom loved to tell everybody at Placer High, oh yeah, I'm on her birth certificate because she lost parental rights because she was a drug addict. And, so I've always had that.
So she was always hanging it over your head.
Oh, still to this day, which is fine. It's okay because I've overcame it, but definitely never my cheerleader. So then finally she moved out and left the kids with me.
So you built this giant business. You have 6 total children.
Right.
All different dads.
3 different dads.
3 different dads.
Yeah.
Is the dad still in the picture?
No, 2 of them are in prison. The little one has an incredible dad.
So you have a really bad picker.
Oh, well,
the
yeah,
most
because
part.
How do you pick
your
them when you're
picker-
walking down the street of Antelope Road homeless? Nobody worth a shit is going to give me the time of day.
So your picker's better now.
Oh, yeah. My picker is so much better. So fast forward, I built the cleaning company. So I built Linnsey's Cleaning, and we are now one of the largest cleaning companies in Northern California, if not California.
How many employees do you have?
I don't know exactly, but dozens, for sure, dozens of technicians. And we've been able to just take the cleaning company by storm because most of our competition is just 1 or 2 people and they have a couple helpers. No one was ever able to figure out how to scale it.
And systematize it. Because you've cleaned my house.
Right.
And your girls have a system where they go through everything systematized. So there's nothing missed and everything is spot on.
Such a system. So much of our stuff is automated and all of that. So I was able to grow it. And then I started other companies. I have a business coaching company. I have
Tell me about that.
funnels. Yeah. So I love business coaching. I do any industry. So it doesn't just have to be one industry, even though I did it in the beginning, a lot of cleaning, helping people with their cleaning company. But I love that. I freaking love it because what I see is people get out of your own way.
Yeah.
People are their own biggest struggle. Get out of your own way.
I struggle with stuff like that too because it's getting rid of control.
Yeah.
And moving forward, and you have to get out of your own way and let other people take it so that you can continue to grow.
There's been times where I have broke up with a client saying, I can't help you because you don't want to do anything different than you've ever done. So you're not going to get any different results than you've done. They're like, no, I like it that way. Oh, okay. But it hasn't worked in 7 years. Right. It has not worked in 7 years. So, people have to be willing to change, but I love that. I love coming in there and I love building a business. I enjoyed building my business from the ground up, and I still love, I don't work necessarily day to day in my cleaning company because I live in Southern California now, but even building a team that's able to grow it. Our office team is so incredible and they care so much, and they, to the point where if somebody calls and cancels, everybody in the office is dissecting it. Okay, what could we have done better? Who was all on that job? Did they ever complain? Did we miss a point? And that's what it's all about, is building that team. Have you heard of the book, Who Not How?
Yes, but I haven't read that.
Okay, so it's about building a team. Okay. So people always think, how am I going to do that? No, you're not. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do that for you?
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I love helping people build that team that's going to make them thrive. And the one thing was one of my main goals to build really early on was time freedom, because for the first 4 years of Linnsey's Cleaning, I did not take a vacation, and I already felt guilty because I had missed so much of my kids' lives. And then I'm like, now I'm sober, but I have 2 choices. Do I go work at freaking Walmart because it's the only place that'll deal with my background, or do I build a life for us?
So I have to stop you there because that's my biggest thing. My biggest thing is feeling like I don't have time to myself to focus on my kids, to interact with them. I want to be present. It's being present.
Right.
Because when you've got 50,000 things spinning in your mind. So when you say your one thing was that you wanted to create time for yourself, what was the one thing that you shifted in your brain to start creating that time?
Time freedom, building the team.
Team.
So for the first 4 years, I was needed in my business. My business so fully needed me. In the beginning, I only cleaned myself for a couple years. I was able to scale it to the point where I didn't need to clean. But it was building a team that could run without me, but not just run without me, but could grow. and could also mock things the exact way I did it. So that early on, that was what it was. It was building that team. So now, I mean, if you look at my social, I'm on a different island all the time. I will be sitting.
I want to be you.
I was like in Puerto Vallarta, like what, a week and a half ago, and I'm like on my phone and I'm like working, and I have the cleaning company. I have my business coaching company. I just opened a drug and alcohol treatment facility in San Diego.
Okay.
Which I'm so excited about that. That
Because
one,
you can have an impact on others. With
yeah,
that a lot.
like that is so. Oh, I'm so excited about it. I'm super pumped.
When you were a kid, when you were little, what did you think you'd be when you grew up?
It's so funny because my mom had a PR firm when I was a kid, and I worked at her PR firm. So it's so funny because I actually learned so much things that I picked up later in life with my mom. My mom had a PR firm, and so I learned like the schmoozing and the networking and the building connections. Like when I built my cleaning company, oh my God, I drove everybody nuts. I wanted to meet every successful person, learn how they did it, contact everybody. Like joined every chamber, went to every group, every networking event, all of that. And I learned a lot of that from seeing my mom and working at her PR firm. So it's like I kind of had that entrepreneur mindset young. And it's like, so I was super driven, and then addiction will take everything from you. And so it's like once I got sober, I was like, oh, I remember you. Okay, you're back. Okay, let's go. Let's go. And I found myself again. And it's like, I remember I had to learn like confidence. The first time I had to speak at the Auburn chamber, so my teeth were like horrific from my addiction. And so I had no money at first. So I went to Western Dental. I got like this horrible little bridge for the missing teeth that didn't match the color or anything. So I was like talking to Auburn, and I'd be like so shy. I'd always want like my lips to cover my teeth and no confidence. So one of the first investments when I started making some money is I had my teeth, I got full implants. I spent $70,000 to redo my whole mouth. And that was such a confidence booster. And then when I started making money, I realized like what people don't do enough is invest in themselves. And
so what would you say would be your top 3 things to tell someone to invest in themselves?
So, well, your physical and personal development. So coaches, conferences, training. I always say find the person who's doing what you want to do and learn everything from them, right? Don't take advice from somebody who has not done what you want to do. Like I'll get people and they're like, I remember my neighbor at the cleaning company, when I first started doing because I'm a content creator too. So I've been able to like build my social. I remember I I shared my mugshots and went viral.
Oh, good
and
Lord.
like I had 150,000 followers.
Oh my gosh.
Really quick from sharing that.
To hear your story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
To share my mugshots. And so now I share my story super publicly. And I remember he came over to my office and he's like, hey, like, I really want to tell you, I think you're going to ruin your business sharing your mugshots. So I was like, oh, well, thank you for telling me. I mean, we're already
is what it is.
Yeah, we're already doing really well. And I haven't really gotten much negative feedback. I think one time, one of my cleaners who has no clue, it's so funny, this happened like 6 months ago. The office told me they have no clue about my story, this cleaner. She just works for us, she never met me. She's like, you know the weirdest thing? I went into a house the other day and this older man, when I walked in, was like, were you a drug addict too? That was interesting. But for the most part, I've had nothing but positive feedback. And I mean, it's social media, so you get all kinds of things, right? Sure. Some of the things. And a lot of times you have to laugh at it,
So what I want to take away from today and try to share with everybody is what, for you, if you gave any advice to people paying attention as to what they should do. Because to me, like you said, I don't want to live an ordinary life. And sometimes I struggle with that because I know I'm probably not living my best self. But I also struggle with what does ordinary mean, and is it okay to be comfortable and not compare yourself to others? So so I guess my question to you is, in a kind of a roundabout way, how do you stay out of comparison, and how do you strive to live your best life, compare it to somebody else that you respect or that you like, or you think I should be doing that because that person's doing that? How do you just take yourself and 10x you or make you feel good about yourself?
Well, I think it's like, I know people always say you get one life, and that's so generic, but really not caring. Like when I reached this level, I used to be so embarrassed in my story at first. And when I reached this level of confidence where I don't give a shit what anybody thinks of me because I love myself. Okay. And I think it's just really like, I can't put it out there enough of investing in their self. People do not invest in their self. Invest in coaching, invest in your physical appearance. I have extensions, I have eyelashes, I've gotten my nose done, my boobs done, my butt done, my tummy done, and it's not for anybody else, but I feel like when you feel good about yourself, you execute at a whole new level. Like I live life as though everything's rigged in my favor. There's nothing I won't try doing. You know what I mean? Because like, I just feel like I can't lose. And if I do, who gives a shit? I learn from it and try again. And it's that confidence, right? Is what, because people are so scared. Everything you've ever wanted in life is on the other side of fear. Fear kills more dreams than anybody else. So when you get that confidence that I don't care if I fail. Oh, well, I'm going to learn. I mean, I've failed so many times. There was times with my cleaning company where I was like, shit, do I pay rent or payroll? Because I can't pay both this week. And early on. And like that was, you know how much anxiety that brings? But it's like, oh, well, hey, the goal is next payroll, I can pay rent and payroll, right? And you just learn from it and you don't let anything, you don't get scared. So it's like, live life as though everything's rigged in your favor and it'll just fall in your favor. It's nuts. It's wild.
That is the best line I've heard in 12 episodes.
Really? I love that.
Live life as if everything's rigged in your favor.
Yeah. You can't lose, and you freaking won't. There's times where I look and I'm like, how the hell did I build this life? Like, is this for real? Like, is this real life? And it is real life.
I got to do this.
Yeah, thank you.
You go, girl.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
This will be fun.